Hi, my name is Jane and I will be leading you through this short training video on the role of the volunteer speaker at the Children's Society. The aim of this training session is to give you a short whistle-stop overview of our work and our history, to give you an understanding of the role and what it involves and why it's so important, to show you how to get talks in your area and some cheeky shortcuts on how to get a quick offer of a talk, what resources are available to you and where to find them, and how to make your talk impactful. So what does the role involve? Researching and booking talks, attending talks in your community, informing and inspiring people in your community about the work of the Children's Society, encouraging people to engage and take action. In return, you will get regular contact and advice from your community relationship manager, regular updates on our work, speaker resources such as pre-written talks, out-of-pocket expenses. After 6 months, you'll get a reference from us and the satisfaction of knowing you are making a massive difference to the lives of young people. So where did it all begin? It began in 1881 when Edward Rudolph, a young Sunday school teacher, saw firsthand the brutal effects of poverty on the lives of children. When 2 young boys failed to turn up for his Sunday school, he went to look for them and was horrified to find them begging for food on the streets. He soon discovered their father had died, leaving their mother struggling to bring up 7 children under the age of 11. He saw theirs was not an isolated experience and Edward was moved to act. Edward's vision in 1881 was to give homeless and impoverished children a loving and secure family environment to grow up in. In an age where large institutional workhouses and orphanages were common practice, his ideas were hugely ambitious and years ahead of their time. Therefore, the Church of England's central home for waifs and strays was founded. Our work has moved on over the last 140 years. We no longer run children's homes or do adoption. Our focus today is on the key issues facing some of the country's most marginalised young people, and these include tackling multiple disadvantage, such as extreme poverty, exclusion from school, being a young carer, incidents of going missing or becoming a care leaver, knife crime, youth and gang violence, criminal and sexual exploitation, child sexual abuse, care leavers, issues around mental health and well-being, young runaways and children who go missing from home, drug and alcohol misuse, both in young people themselves and their parents and carers, young refugees and migrants, young carers, and campaigns. Alongside our direct work with young people, we run campaigns to tackle some of the toughest challenges our young people face today. Much of what you will need to upskill your knowledge about our work and empower you to talk authentically can be found on our website. It's not the easiest thing to navigate, but it's well worth spending some time and energy every week to have a hunt around it. I would recommend looking at the subjects covered in this presentation and using the search tool to find out more. All this vital work cannot be done without funding. And to be honest, the way we raise money in our communities has not changed at the Children's Society for many decades. Christingle, the Moravian tradition of using an orange to show God's love in the world. This has been used as a fundraiser by the Children's Society since 1968, from Advent through to Candlemas. That's the last Sunday in November through to the 2nd of February. Income from Christingle is in sharp decline, especially since the pandemic, but it's still a very popular service and seen by many families as the start of Christmas. House boxes. These magic little boxes have raised millions over the years. Sadly, now they're also in decline. People have less cash in their pockets, and since the pandemic, we have moved even further towards a cashless society. Coffee mornings, once the staple of community fundraising. They're often organised by our committees, who sadly are also now in decline. Coffee mornings are often organised alongside a tabletop sale. They're held in church halls and community centres, and some of our committees have garden parties based on this model. So what does post-pandemic fundraising activity look like? It's cashless, it can be virtual, it's often online, it's cause motivated. There's a move towards it being green. It's commonly fitness based and can be related to positive mental health and well-being. So what makes the difference between a good talk and a great talk? Keep it succinct. Don't try to cover all our work in one presentation. Focus on one area, for example, county lines. Use a prop if possible. Keep eye contact, but only with one person at a time. Keep it engaging, don't waffle. Speak with authority. Keep your body language open. Use your hands. And practice, practice, practice and practice more. The links included in the notes of this presentation will take you to some of the best advice on how to give an impactful talk. I would advise watching them all regularly to help inspire you and make your talks work for you. Putting together a good presentation. So what makes up what we hear during a presentation? So unbelievably, words only make up 7% of what we hear during a talk. Tone of voice makes up 38% of what we hear. And body language makes up 55% of what we hear during a talk or presentation. Let's start with words. Preparing the structure of your talk. This can be broken down as follows. Your opening component. This can be your greeting, hi, my name is, my role is, etc. Your objectives. This is what you're here to talk about. And then your talk content. One way to construct your talk is around the big six. This comprises of what, why, who, where, when, and how. Your conclusion or close component. This can be the most crucial component of a presentation. Why? Because they always remember what you said last. This means that it's important to summarise the main points of your talk in the close for audiences. It also helps people decide what they will take away from your message. In other words, the speaker can make them feel that they've earned benefits or values after the presentation. If a speaker wants an audience to memorise and be aware of certain points, for example, the amount of money needed to keep a piece of vital work open, or the number of children living in poverty, the speaker should repeat these facts again and again and again in all three parts: the opening, the content, and the close. Voice. Tone of voice is where speakers can control their tone of voice and manipulate listeners' feelings and emotions. Tone of voice comprises of 4 parts. Projection. Projection is how the voice is directed from the mouth when pronouncing. And there are two main kinds, diffuse and direct. Naturally, humans only use one of these two when speaking, either diffuse or direct. Diffuse, the voice starts spreading out in various directions as it leaves the mouth. It has an easy listening sound and can be used in all situations, informative, persuasive or inspired. While pronouncing, try to make the voice go along with the breath as it leaves your mouth. For example, I would like to tell you a story. Direct. When speaking directly, the voice goes directly to the audience. Direct pronunciation has the power to attract attention from the audience. It's typically used to keep the audience focused on the conversation and ensure that they are not distracted. While belting out the voice, try and make the breath from your voice sound as short as possible. For example, I would like to tell you a story. I hope you can tell the difference. Range. Range can be adapted to influence or deliver emotion towards the audience. Range is categorised into three distinct types. Head tone. Head tone expresses extreme emotions, the happiest, the angriest, etc. If head tone is used correctly, you should feel a vibration behind your head as its resonance also should occur around the centre between your eyebrows. Mouth tone. Mouth tone expresses normal or indifferent emotions. If mouth tone is used correctly, you should feel the vibrations around your sinus and oral cavity, your nose and your mouth. Chest tone. Chest tone has a bass resonance to it and it expresses sad, discreet or romantic emotions. If chest tone is used correctly, the breath is used from the chest and you should feel the tone resonating in your chest and have a more powerful empowerment to the tone. Pace is simply the speed of speaking or pausing between sentences and words, and it can have a really powerful impact on the way your words are heard. Inflection. It's simply a combination of projection, range and pace in order to generate a collection of voices. Naturally, audiences will lose focus after 5 minutes, and audiences tend to be sleepier the further you go into your talk. If the right tones of voice are adopted, the show will be interesting and draw attention to the audiences. Each speaker has his own unique tone of voice, but how can I find my own signature, I hear you ask? You need to experiment by yourself. For example, you can try combining a little bit faster pace with diffuse or projection. Have fun with it. Play around with it. Talk in front of a mirror. But most of it all, enjoy it. The more you enjoy talking, the more an audience will enjoy listening to you. Positive non-verbal communication or body language. Body language does not only change how the audience views the speaker, but it also changes our own perspective. And although some speakers may lack confidence, they can also use the right body language to improve confidence and self-esteem. There are a number of poses you can use to enhance your body language while doing a speech or a talk. Starting with putting your hands at waist level with the fingers touching as in the slide. This is a great starting position and one to return to. From pose 1, when you want to introduce a new point or sentence, you can put one hand either to the right or to the left, as shown in the slides below. When finishing the sentence, you return back to pose 1. When talking about something you have a personal experience of, Spin your wrist towards yourself. When talking about something the audience may have experienced, spin your wrists away from yourself and towards the audience. Soon you are going to start wanting to get your talks booked in. And remember, this is a numbers game. The more organisations you contact, the more talks you will get. Be clever. Why do all the hard work when someone else can do it better? Rotaries, mothers' unions, WI, round tables, etc. all have a central speaker database. Get on it. To find your nearest one, Google is your best friend. If you want to talk in a church or to a faith group, use the church's or faith group's own comms channels to advertise your service. Comms coming from this source has far more gravitas. Get an article in your local paper talking about the work of the Children's Society, and during this article offer talks to schools and community groups. Get an article offering talks in industry magazines, for example, education and training. What other type of industry magazines can you think of that would be really useful in getting your talks? Resources to help you prepare. We have a whole hub of resources to support you in your role. These include talk scripts and PowerPoint presentations, videos to inspire and learn from, information leaflets to display at your talks, research and campaign reports and case studies about the amazing difference we have made to the lives of children and young people. So, now you're raring to go. What are your next steps? Book a call in with your community relationship manager. Here you can talk through any questions you may still have about the role. If you're comfortable doing so, try and prepare a 5-minute talk to share with your relationship manager, who can then provide constructive feedback. Ask your relationship manager to send you template emails offering talks to churches, schools and community groups. Also ask your relationship manager to send you a template talk for each type of organisation you will be going out and doing talks to. Try and book in monthly catch-ups with your community relationship manager. This will be invaluable moving forward. Also, send your relationship manager a photo as soon as possible that can be used in your ID card. This needs to be a passport style photo but can be taken on your phone. Our volunteers all have free access to our learning zone. The courses are free, online and can be done at your own pace. I highly recommend booking in to as many courses as possible to enhance your knowledge about the Children's Society and safe practice. If you're talking in schools, you will need a DBS. Your community relationship manager can organise this for you. And if you haven't done so yet, please send your volunteer agreement back to your relationship manager. Finally, try and buddy up with another volunteer speaker. Talking through an idea or an issue that you have with someone in the same role can be a great way to learn. Thank you so much for volunteering for the Children's Society. I hope you find this role as rewarding and as enjoyable as I do. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact your community relationship manager directly. I really hope you enjoy the journey. Thank you.